Listen, beloved, I was just watching a video about Peter Thiel and the Antichrist of him supposedly having this four-part series that he's to a sold-out crowd in I think it's in San Francisco. He's supposed to be explaining this four-part series about the Antichrist, and I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't Peter Thiel with Palantir and all of the stuff that they're doing as far as the surveillance of the world? It's not just the United States. He created the surveillance and everything for the world, and this drone program that's supposed to be taking out its enemies, or you know, the weaponry. Oh man, this I don't see why people don't see that this guy is a software engineer, and he's supposed to be a theologian now, telling you about Lucifer, telling you about the Antichrist, the man of sin. And you mean to tell me we're supposed to accept this and go see him tell you about the Antichrist? And this is what I truly believe. This is my belief. Nobody else's. I've never heard nobody say this. But this is what I truly believe. Okay. I had a whole lot of people that I had thought that would be the Antichrist through my research about 2 or 3 years ago, but this one came up under the radar and I didn't realize it until now. Not until now, but I had said this probably about 7 months ago, and I was telling my wife at the time that something is strange about this whole election and everything that's coming up, and how JD Vance had kind of like skyrocket to the forefront of everything, just coming into his own as far as being a senator. I think he up in there somewhere in Massachusetts, or somewhere up north or whatever, right? And I was saying how he won it and everything, and how when they were talking to him and he gave the speeches and he was talking about his racial children and all that. And I was thinking to myself, I said, damn, why would he say that? Like I know that. See, I observe every little detail. Like people probably overlooked it, because he is married to like an Indian woman or something like that. So, but I know when you love somebody, you don't look at their ethnicity or the color of their skin or whatever, because it's the inside that you fall in love with the person. Or what I know as far as true love, I ain't talking about what the world say love. I'm talking about what the Bible talk about, the agape love. I'm not talking about that eros, lustful love that the world say you supposed to, have for your partner and everything. That's why it always ends in divorce when it's the lustful love or the eros, that Greek love. But when you love somebody wholeheartedly agape, you wouldn't say that you had racial children, would you? I wouldn't have said, like, if I'm with my Caucasian wife, or Indian wife, or Irish wife, or whatever. I'm not gonna say to the crowd that I think my wife and my racial children. I'm not gonna say that. That's my children. They my children. That's my wife. I ain't gonna look at her skin. So when he said that, it kind of like threw a red flag at me. And I was watching my girl at the time, and she was watching it with me, and she ain't say nothing. And I was like, wait a minute, don't that say? I paused it and said, don't that sound crazy that you would say that? And she said, yeah, that is kind of weird. Why would you say about your multiracial children? Everybody see that your wife is Indian and all that. Why would you say that? So it kind of threw a red flag at me. So I started watching JD Vance, and I saw that he came out with some book. He was like a hillbilly elegy or something like that. And I saw that because hillbillies are rednecks. To be honest, I mean, you got to be honest. They're rednecks. Like, they don't mess with no Negroes. They don't mess with no people. They are like sort of like the pure bloods of what the Christianity of what they wanted it to be, as far as no other race but the Caucasian race. You see what I'm saying? They were the ones that put on the white sheets and burned crosses on Negroes' yards, and burning down houses and destroying Negroes' properties and stuff like. These were the part of the hillbilly crew, and people might say, nah, that ain't the truth. Nah, it's not the person how they look. It's the mentality that I'm talking about. The hillbilly mentality is that the racist prejudice mentality that these people harbor, but you might not see it, or you'll see it if you look at them and see that they prescribe to their, the dress code and everything. You'll see, but some of them you might see it as a judge, and they got that mentality. They got that racist, hillbilly, white supremacy mentality. So I'm just saying all that to say that I've noticed all of this about JD Vance, and then I started doing more research about, what he was saying, how he was, and it sounded good, how he was, supporting Trump, but I remember when he called Trump Hitler. So I'm thinking that he was a snake, because I said that I wanted Trump to put in Byron Donaldson, but they ain't gonna get no Negro. I mean, I don't know if he a Negro. He might be like from Haiti or somewhere like that. But the senator from Florida, I thought Trump would have been better picking him as the vice president, because I thought Byron Donaldson he's definitely a sharp individual, but at the same time, I know as far as what they believe, as far as the melanin, they don't trust, no Negroes or anything like that. They want to put one of their own in there. So I knew that that wasn't going to fly. But once he, partnered up with JD Vance and everything, and then I started to see all of the stuff that was happening, and then I started to do the research on who JD Vance was linked with, and then I realized that he was linked with Palantir and Elon Musk and all of these different people that were basically forming the foundation for the New World Order. And I said, wait a minute, he's with this guy, Peter Thiel, and Elon Musk. Remember, they started PayPal, and they did all of the stuff with that. And JD Vance knew them at the time, and I believe that he invested in some of the stuff that Peter Thiel, because they're friends, they're like really close. And here it is, Peter Thiel coming on here talking about he about to give a 4-part series on the Antichrist. And I'm like, because I had always thought, because I said it's something about, this was before I heard all of this stuff. Like, this is probably like I said, this was right around 2020 during the elections and all of that stuff. I was saying, I said something ain't right. I was telling my girl, I said something ain't right with JD Vance, because I never really trusted him after he said that biracial comment. I was like, something ain't right about this dude. And then once I started to do more research, like I said before, I realized this is only my belief. I think JD Vance is the Antichrist. I really believe that, because I believe because he's young and he's ready and he's in the mix with everybody, and they show the ties that he has with all of the people that are building this basically New World Order, the surveillance, the drone, the technology for warfare and all of this stuff. And I said, damn. And Trump is really setting it up for JD Vance to take over. If you look at it, the way that Trump is moving in the world and how he's doing everything, he's really getting everything ready for the Antichrist. Even though because he, securing the borders, he's doing all of the things that the people want, but the Antichrist is going to come in there like it's smooth. Because remember, they said the first 3.5 years was going to be peace. And then the 3.5 years after that, the Antichrist was going to cause kill, steal, and destroy beyond this world has ever seen. It was going to be horrors like this world has never seen in the history of this planet. And the way that JD Vance, he's a likable person if you don't really do your research on him. You see what I'm saying? And that's how the Antichrist is going to come in. Everybody's going to like him. Everybody's going to like him. And people might say, man, you don't know what you're talking about, Miki. That sounds crazy and far-fetched. I'm just saying, watch JD Vance. Watch how he moves. Watch who he talks to. Watch who he's around. Watch everything about him, because it's showing me that something is pointing the finger at him because of his relationship with Peter Thiel. And we see that they're giving so much coverage to Peter Thiel because of Palantir. And I just believe, man, people need to wake up to the fact that we need to be more astute at what these people are doing on the right. Because we already know that the Democrats work for Satan, and most of these people on the right work for Satan, but it's the ones that you think is doing something that really work for him, but it's just a facade. It's just a ploy to get you to trust them. Because that's what he wants. He wants your trust because that's how he's going to deceive the world through their trust. So, but that's all I got. I just wanted to bring that out. But I just pray that God, because God is in control no matter what. And I pray that people would listen and stop being distracted by all of these different things and really start to look at what these end times are coming to, because we're at the end of the dispensation of grace and we're coming into the dispensation of trials and tribulations. And people don't understand that I believe that the church will go through the beginning parts of trials and tribulations because of what the Bible talks about, how the man of sin will be revealed in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And I believe that a lot of the church has already fallen away. All of these steps is happening for us to see who this person is. And I believe that it's JD Vance. That's just my belief. Amen. So y'all take care and never forget that Jesus loves you. Amen. Amen.